Hello everyone, I'm Morgan, and today I wanted to talk to you about 5 books I've read recently. So without further ado, let's just get into it. As usual, I'm going to go from the one I like the least to the one I like the most. And the one I like the least this time is Planting Wolves by Neda Disney. I got this one as an arc from Neda from the publisher, so I am glad for that, but I thought this was one of the worst books that I have ever read, and I actually finished it, and I'm proud of myself for that. But this book is a short story collection that talks about a bunch of people that, in my opinion, were all horrible, and they are depressed, which honestly is understandable given their lives. I don't mean to talk down to people, and obviously I respect people who have depression and everything. I'm not saying that. It's just that the book was just so terrible. I wasn't interested in any of the characters, and everything was just so sad and depressing, and nothing was interesting, they were all terrible people who didn't have a lot going for them, and I don't know. I don't know why I needed to read this and why anyone needs to. I just thought it was absolutely terrible, and I would really, really recommend you not read it, to be honest, because books I give 1 star, like I give this one, are honestly books that I don't understand how they were published. And I know that it is harsh to say this, but I mean it. I really don't understand what the point of this book is. And yeah. But that's all for this book. The second book I want to talk about is Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which I have right here. I actually listened to this one on audiobook. Terry Plummer is the narrator for this audiobook on Audible, and I think she's a great narrator. I really enjoyed the narration, but the actual book was just okay. In it, we follow Rosemary Hoyt, who is an actress, and she goes to the south of France, to the beach, and she meets this couple, the divers, and she gets involved with the man Dick Diver. And they start a relationship, and she falls in love with him, or at least she says she is in love with him. And it's about them, basically. We follow mostly Rosemary, but sometimes we actually switch perspectives, and we follow also Dick Diver with his wife, Nicole, and all the problems they're having. And we learn that Nicole has mental health problems. There are a lot of things going for this book, but I still didn't love it. I don't know what's wrong with it exactly. The writing is fine, and the characters I liked somewhat, but it wasn't the most interesting book, and I didn't feel like it was saying anything particularly interesting. And we mostly follow them going to parties and stuff that is happening. I did like, as I said, the mental health representation with Nicole and everything she was going through, and Rosemary also was searching herself a little, which was interesting. But overall, this book was a bit all over the place, and I'm not really sure what I was supposed to focus on, and I don't know, I wasn't really interested in the setting, also in the south of France, and then they move also to other parts of France. I'm French, if you don't know, but I didn't care that much. The next book I want to talk about is Paris Adrift by E.J. Swift. This is also an arc that I got from Neda from the publisher, and this one I actually really enjoyed, though it was not perfect. It is about a girl that discovers that she can go back in time. She is what they call in the book an incumbent, so she has a specific place in the world, and in Paris specifically in this, where she can travel to other times, but she's not the one that decides when she can travel. It's the place itself that has a will and can transport her wherever it wants. She can influence it a little bit, but she's never sure where she's going to end up. And at first, she doesn't really know what's happening, and she's very confused, and we follow her journey from that. and there's this woman that can take anybody, and she used to be an incumbent as well, but now she's traveled so much that she's become crazy, and she doesn't have her body anymore, but she's just in the air, like she's a conscience, and she can get into other people's bodies and take them. So that's what she does sometimes, and she goes and talks to our main character. And a lot of the book was really interesting. So she goes back in time and in the future sometimes, in places in Paris, obviously, because she always ends up in the exact same place. And she starts working in this nightclub where her place is, where she can travel. And I don't know, I liked a lot about this book. I liked her main character that we were following. The setting in Paris was quite good, as well as the nightclub, and she started making friends there and traveled a lot. And there were things that she was supposed to change, because you actually see a prologue at the beginning, where we see other people that were just like her, and they're in the future and they need something changed, but they cannot change it anymore in their present, so they need someone else to do it for them. And so they ask the only one of them that can still travel back, to find this person that can change the things, and that person is our main character. And he doesn't tell her, obviously, in the beginning, which is something that she doesn't like, because they start getting involved and there are a lot of things going on. Again, I really like this book, but in the end it was a bit all over the place, and I just don't know. I wish we had seen actually the people that we saw in the prologue again, but we don't see them again, which is kind of weird. Like, but everything that she does works for them, though she doesn't know it. But in the end, we don't see how this unfolds. We just know that, like, it's resolved first in some way, and that was weird. But her character and the story were really engaging, and I like the writing, which was really simple, I would say. And this book actually made me think a lot about The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, because this one as well dealt with time travel in a specific way, but it mostly focused on the people and not the time travel, because like there is a science fiction element obviously in this novel as well as in The Time Traveler's Wife, but the focus is mostly on the family and themselves, like the people, instead of that thing. And that was the same in this book. So we're mostly following like her life, her family life also, because she has problems with her mother and just her family in general, and so we learned about that. Just a really enjoyable read, just not perfect, as I said. The next book I want to talk about is another arc, and it is What Kind of Girl by Alyssa B. Sheinmel. This is a contemporary YA novel about a girl that accuses her boyfriend of hitting her, and she goes to the principal of her high school to accuse her boyfriend, and so everyone in the school starts taking sides. Some people don't believe her, as you would expect, unfortunately, and the thing is we follow her perspective, but also one of her best friends, and no, her best friend, she only has one. And the thing is, in the beginning, you don't actually get the names of the characters that you're following. It tells you like the kind of person that it is, like the best friend, the girlfriend, and that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't say specific things. And so I saw a few reviews that said that they thought this was confusing, but to be honest, like, I don't mind. Maybe it's a bit confusing at first, for sure, but it all makes sense in the end, so I don't mind. I love that kind of book, those kind of books actually, that don't tell you everything from the get-go. And so obviously it talks about domestic abuse. So is it domestic abuse? Because they don't live together. I don't know, but you know what I mean. So he talks about her experience, but also her best friend's experience, because there is a lot of anxiety and self-harm rep linked to her. which I did find really hard to read. The anxiety web I can talk about a little, and I thought it was really well done. Like, I could really imagine myself feeling those things, and maybe I have thought those things as well before. And the self-harm I cannot really talk about because I don't know about it, but it felt really well written and very hard to read. Like, those parts were the hardest for me because they're very graphic. Alyssa Sheinmel just doesn't pull punches, and I like how the book unfolded and just everything was really well done for me. I don't really have a bad thing to say about this book. I liked how friendship was used in this book and shown, and the parents also were nice, and I was mad at like the boy for a lot of the book as well, and just, yeah, some things made me mad. It made me feel so many feelings, really, this book, and I would highly recommend it. I'm not sure exactly when it's supposed to come out, but I will put it in the description and on the screen maybe. But whenever it comes out, I would recommend you check it out if you like this. And the last book I have to talk about is Iron Kissed by Patricia Briggs. This is the third book in the Mercy Thompson series, which I've been going through for a few weeks. This one follows again Mercy Thompson, and it follows mostly Faye's. And one thing that I don't really want to say because it's a spoiler, but it's also a trigger warning, is that there is a rape scene in this book, and it wasn't really the rape scene that was hard to read for me, but more the aftermath, because she's actually drugged during the rape, and as you are following everything from her perspective, you don't really understand what is happening, just like probably she isn't understanding things. But after that, actually her friends are recalling everything that's happening, and that was actually the part that broke me. And so obviously I love this series so much, and I love Mercy Thompson as a character. I love how it's urban fantasy, and I love urban fantasy, like the real life with just a bit of magic. And in this one, as we said, we follow mostly the Fae, and the Fae are very magical, and there are a lot of things going on, and there are always fights. Like, it's very intense, and I read these books so quickly because they're just page turners. They're amazing. And this one was even better because of that scene, the rape scene that was horrible, but also so beautifully written and crafted. I was just in awe of this book. It was just amazing, and I cannot wait to read the fourth book. So yeah, that is all for me. Thank you for watching. Please tell me if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and if maybe you want to read them now after hearing me talk about them. So I'd love to know. But please feel free to leave anything in the comments down below, as I would love to chat. And I hope to see you soon in another video. Goodbye! Dream I know, deep up my feelings.